I'm Michael David Sims, Creative Director of MDS Actor Studio, and this is the inaugural voyage of the Grumpy Thespian podcast. My first visitor is Emilio Salituro, one of the senior agent managers at Lucas Talent in Vancouver, but his clients work all over the world, the US, Vancouver, Europe, wherever, and he's been doing this for over 20 years with an unbridled joy. Many of you don't know that Emilio is actually a classically trained actor and was a restaurateur. He had his own Italian restaurant in Burnaby and was hired to run a very high-end restaurant in China. But his first love is show business. I think you're going to get a lot of really good information, and I don't think you can help but be affected by the joy that he has dealing in show business. So without further ado, here's Emilio. This is the Grumpy Thespian. I'm Michael David Sims, Artistic Director of MDS Actor Studio. And this is Emilio Salituro from Lucas Talent Agency and one of the best agents in town. And
Thank
welcome,
you.
Sir. You are my virgin voyage in this podcast.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I just want to start with maybe some of your personal history. Born and raised Canada, here?
Yeah,
Vancouver?
yeah. Born and raised here. Actually, born in Vancouver.
Wow,
lived
that's
in Vancouver
rare.
all my life. Yeah, stayed. Actually, lived in Kamloops for a little while. Small town boy. Moved here, back here when my family got. My father got transferred, and I was about 15 years old.
Was your father in the industry at all?
No, not at all.
Nobody from your family?
Nobody from my family was in the industry. Some of them should have been. But
Is that
no.
right?
They were. We had some funny characters in my life. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it a typical Italian family?
Very, very typical. Very
Sitcom?
traditional. Very traditional Italian family. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've talked about your mom several times, so I just assumed. So you started out in this business as an actor, yes?
Yeah.
So what happened? I interview actors before I let them audit or join, and I want to get a sense of what bit them, what hooked them.
Yeah.
So what happened? Was this a childhood thing? Was it something that bit you in high school?
You know what? It was something that I think bit me when I was a child. I loved to entertain.
Yeah?
And I loved drama classes all the way from like elementary school.
You had drama classes in elementary school?
Yeah, we had drama classes. We wrote our first play in grade 6, performed
Wow.
it for the school. We would do different performances for the school in grade 5, 6, and 7.
Well, I was born in the Stone Age, so we didn't have any of that. But when I was 6 years old, right in the middle of August, the hottest month back in Ohio, that I'd put on like 40 shirts and a coat and everything because I was a skinny little kid. I remember my mother laughing with her friend on the porch to put a cape on so I could be Superman, but I believed it, right?
Yeah.
From the so you had similar type of experience.
Totally. And then in grade 8, we got introduced to the theater community. I don't know if you've heard of Western Canada Theater Company.
No, I
it's
haven't.
a great theater company. Still one of the best theater companies in Western Canada is in Kamloops. So
Wow.
our grade 8 drama teacher had us all get season passes, and we would go there as a class in
wow.
grade 8. Yeah, and I remember going to see many of their shows every year.
Okay, so when you got into high school and stuff, did things change? Did you go up a
Well,
level?
I never thought I could make a living at it. I never thought of it as a career. It was something that I took as a fun hobby
Yep.
on the side. When I came to Vancouver, I went to a school in Coquitlam, and I had a great acting teacher in high school named Mr. Lee Taylor. I remember he was about to retire, but I remember one day being in the drama class. He was such a great director, such a great teacher, and I remember going home that night and one day seeing him on an episode of Wise Guy.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what? That's my acting teacher. That's my
Wow.
drama teacher, grade 12 drama teacher.
Validation.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that would be, what a great gig. He teaches acting during the day, and he acts on TV shows at night.
That's cool.
And that's when Vancouver was first starting. That's when.
What year was that?
Oh, geez, that would have probably been in the late 80s.
Yeah, because I didn't hit here till '94, and it was in its infancy.
Yeah.
There was only one studio. That was Lionsgate, North Shore.
Well, this was when Stephen J. Cannell was just starting to come out.
Right.
So he's the one. Actually, you
Hill
Got to
Street
give him
Blues,
credit.
baby.
Yeah, got to give him credit. He's the one that started the Vancouver film industry. He brought out Wise Guy, 21 Jump Street.
What was the one Johnny Depp was in?
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street.
Yeah,
That's right.
So
yeah.
he's the one that kind of brought a lot of that episodic television up here.
Man.
Before that, I remember we had shot Rambo in Hope, and that was the big thing. Every time we
that was
drive through
huge.
Hope.
I
But
worked
this is
with
where
Dennehy.
Rambo went.
I worked with him twice.
Oh, yeah.
He was fabulous. I'll tell you, working with Brian Dennehy, he was doing everything. He was writing, he wrote it, he directed it, he produced it, and I don't know how the hell he did it. But my thing, I was his like number one guy, and I had to make sure that whenever he turned sideways, I turned at an angle because he'd block me out.
Yeah.
He was like this, but he was great. No,
Yeah,
wonderful.
very good actor.
Yeah.
So then the high school thing happened. I tried to figure out what I wanted to do, took a gap year, thought about what I wanted to do for life, and I went back to my acting teacher from grade 12. I was like, oh, he taught acting and was able to act. Maybe that's something I could do. And I remember we went to a drama festival at this nearby college in Coquitlam, and I was like, wow, they have such amazing facilities. I'm going to maybe see if I can get into the drama acting program there.
Wow.
And I did. I did 2 years there at the Douglas College program. I never started it as an actor. I started as an acting student, I like to tell people. And I still remain to this day as an acting student.
I think you have to.
Yeah, even as an agent. I did 2 years at this one full-time program in US, the Douglas College Theater program. It was great. I learned a lot about performing and creating and making your own stuff. I got a grant over the summer, did this touring show with them through the school, and then did my second year there and was a teacher assistant at that time as well. So I actually got paid to go and work extra in the theater and help the teachers with their first years and stuff like that. After that, I wanted to continue my training to get my degree, and I wanted to I wanted to go to school. It was only a diploma program at Douglas. So I went to Simon Fraser University, which is not far from Coquitlam. And I thought, okay, well, all my high school friends are there.
Yeah.
I'm going to
My
pop
kid
up.
went there too.
Yeah, I went up to SFU. I learned a lot of great stuff there in my first year. I learned all my working from the outside in, all my Grotowski, LeBands, my clown work. I've yet to learn, I've yet to see anybody teach clown as intensive as they did at SFU. But I found it a little contemporary for what I wanted in that time.
What do you mean by that?
Contemporary was a little, I wanted more of a classical approach.
Okay.
I wanted to learn the rules, and I felt sometimes contemporary drama is about breaking the rules and trying to find ways of breaking it. But I don't think I had learned the rules enough to break them at that time.
Okay.
And I was young. I was like, okay, well, why are we rolling around on the ground? Why are we acting like bacon? Why are we doing all this stuff, right? And I really didn't understand the whole concept of it. I was, 19, 20 at the time? So I remember a professor that adjudicated a festival I was in at one time, and he was a professor at UBC. And I was like, oh, you know what? I think UBC has a really good program. I did some research, and they do have a great classical approach. So I went and auditioned for the UBC program and got into their program, the BFA acting program, and was there for another 3 years.
Wow.
And that's where I learned all my classical training and my voice and my movement and Shakespeare. And I don't talk to me about Shakespeare because I still don't like it. But but it was great. We learned a lot of great stuff there.
Have you seen Hamnet yet?
I have not, but it is on my list.
Did you see the post we did? It's now gone to 850,000 views. It's gone viral.
Oh, really?
I came out of there sobbing. I mean, if you're not in tears at the end of that movie, you have no soul. It is absolutely the best movie I've seen in 20 years or more, and it is. Jesse Buckley is gargantuan, and the kids were so good they deserve nominations. It is really a great movie.
Oh, wow.
And it's like Shakespeare, Hamlet itself is a play within a play. Well, this is a play within a movie. Mm-hmm. And it convinced, well, I'll get to that later. Anyway, this is more about you. You should go see it. So
I will. I am going to try and see it before the Oscars. So. Okay,
so you've just had, you dabbled in directing. Was this something that you did that followed with your training?
Well,
or
I
that
think
you just wanted to do for a long time? Or?
It follows. It's part of our training. I think every actor wants to direct, and I think when we were young, or when we were actors, we got to find our own work, and
sure.
sometimes it means producing our own shows or getting a group of like-minded individuals and putting on a show. And one day you direct this one, and I'll act in it, and this time I'll direct in it, and you'll act in it.
Matt Damon.
So that was that's the way that's the way we worked growing up after graduating from school.
Well,
we would put on our own shows, and we would produce, and sometimes I would get a director, and sometimes they would ask me to direct. So I had some directing experience in the past.
So did you write these things? So you wrote?
No, we would always try and find published plays. Yeah, we weren't writers.
So so the big question here then. Okay, so why and when the big turn into agenting?
Okay, so
because you invested a lot of time and money.
A lot of time. I did 6 years training and then 10 years working as a professional actor.
What's your IMDb like?
Oh, nothing. It's like maybe. Well, I consider the first probably 8 or 9 years or 8 years, like still learning, right? Yeah. Even after working as an actor, I maybe have 15, 16 credits as an actor.
Good for you.
But I also did some theater. I did a lot of commercials, did live theater, did improv shows.
You've got a commercial look, bud.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. Well, it's so funny because I tell people that. I said, if I had a commercial look, everybody could have a commercial look. Because I went for 4 years as an actor without booking one commercial.
Wow.
To the point where I talked to my agent. I said, listen, I'm tired of these cattle calls. I don't want to do this anymore. Yep. And she said, no, forget it. Just keep doing the commercials. They'll be fine. Bang, bang. And then all of a sudden, bang, everything happened. And it just started booking. And after I started booking, that commercial money was paying for my acting classes, paying for my new headshots, paying for my rent, right? Now, the first 8 years, I got to say, it was a rough 8 years. I always had a day job. I actually had opened up an Italian restaurant in Burnaby.
You did?
So I owned an Italian restaurant. I took some time off of training. I had some money saved up during my university days, invested it into a restaurant, had that going, and gave up acting. For about a year.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, I'm going to give up acting for a little while, get the business established, and then move into, get back into acting. Because I don't care what people say. You're never too old to get into this business.
Absolutely.
So I ended up, started seeing all these friends of mine that I'd gone to school with at Douglas College or SFU or UBC. And they were all on TV, some in commercials, some in TV shows. One was actually a series regular on a really hot sci-fi show in Vancouver. And I was like, wow, okay, you know what? Maybe I will get back into this. So for those first few years, I was juggling 2 careers. I was owning a restaurant and juggling the acting. And it was tough. But I was kind of lucky. I would book 1 gig here and then the restaurant would be busy and the industry would be slow. The one thing is, it allowed me to always be able to jump into a class because I always had the restaurant supporting my dream, right?
Yeah, you bet.
So I did that. Then I had a family thing where my father passed away, so I took some time off to find myself. I had the restaurant for 7 years.
Wow.
I ended up closing it after 7 years. I got a job offer to move to Shanghai. And
Really?
Yeah, they asked me to be a consultant in building a high-end American steakhouse and a live music lounge.
Wow.
So I went down there, we got it all set up, built, and then they asked me to stay and be the general manager. So I stayed there for 2 years and was the general manager. It was about 100 seat.
You speak Chinese?
No, not at all. Not at all. And it was very Americanized. All my staff were Chinese, but they could all speak English. But I had a translator, I had a driver, I had an apartment that was a block away from the restaurant. It was in this really nice. Yeah, they were so nice to me and so good to me down there. And then one day I met a producer there, close to the end of the 2 years. Came into the restaurant. He goes, "Oh, I'm shooting this feature film. We're looking for an American-looking guy to play the owner of the bar. Do you want to come out and audition?" And I hadn't heard about them earlier, about them at that time, but it was Merchant Ivory Films.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Jesus, Marion Flavin.
it was James Ivory and Ishmael Merchant. Ishmael was the director, was producing,
films.
and
Remains of the Day is one of my favorite films of all time.
yeah.
Love it. Anyway, go ahead.
So they asked me to come in and audition, and I did. Told me how to say some of the words in Chinese, and I knew how to say the words in English. And they offered me a role in a feature. It was like 16 days on this feature with Ray Fiennes and Natasha Richardson.
Oh my goodness gracious!
And I turned it down. Yeah.
Emilio!
Well, I felt bad. I think I'm pretty loyal, and I was down in China under somebody else's dollar. I was getting paid
I see.
to run this restaurant. He was paying for my rent. He was paying for my food. He was paying for my driver.
Conflict.
And to say I need to take another 3 weeks off, just wouldn't have. I don't think he would have appreciated it, but before I even got to that point, I wanted to say, no, listen, I got to turn it down. And it wasn't a lead role. It was just a good little supporting role. And I thought, okay, it paid scale, whatever it was at that time.
But even so, it's an honorable thing to do. I understand.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So, but it made me think of something. It made me realize that, you know what, the restaurant business was only supposed to be temporary for me. Mm-hmm. I wanted to do the acting.
Yeah.
So I actually decided to move back from China and get back into acting. But when I got back, I realized it wasn't about the acting that I really enjoyed. It was about the industry, and it was the people around me. Because as an actor, I was a hardworking actor. I was always in classes. I was always training. I was always watching movies, working on scripts. But it became very selfish or lazy. It was always about me. Does this casting director like me? Does this producer like me? When will I get this next job?
Got it.
When should I jump into this class? When should I do this? And if I wasn't on set or in a class, I was at home sleeping or not doing anything, right?
Yeah.
And it just wasn't good for my lifestyle. And what I realized, especially when my father passed away, I learned about the power of we instead of the power of me. And that was the thing that was like, I wonder. So I went to my agent and I said, I've been out of the industry for 2 years in China. Why don't I come back and work as an agent in your office? I'll build my own roster and away I go. And she laughed at me and she said, no, just stay as an actor. And I was like, okay. And you know what? At that time, it was great. I was actually very appreciative she gave me that time, because in those 2 years before I made the switch that she told me to stay as an actor,
right,
I actually made a living as an actor. I didn't have a day job.
Good for you.
And it was a tough grind. It wasn't an easy living.
I know. I've done it.
Yeah,
I had to get a gig. When I came up here the second time, I had to get a gig a month to survive.
Yeah.
And it was just hopping anyway. So, I know. It's tough.
And it was a grind. I was teaching. I was like producing my own plays.
Wow.
I was doing commercials. I was doing theater. I was doing dinner theater just to get the free meal and the $50 a show. Right?
Been there, done that. Yep.
So I did that for 2 years, but I got around and was able to pay the bills. And then she said to me, she goes, remember how you said you wanted to be an agent?
Wow.
I said, yeah. She goes, I have a problem with an agent in the office. I have to let him go. But he has a roster, and I don't want to let the roster go. I can't handle them. Would you be willing to take over the roster?
Wow, that's fabulous.
So she said she had a great roster. It wasn't that great. But I looked at it, and it was a roster. So I actually met, and you know what? To this day, I still have some of the people that were on that roster.
Is that right?
Yeah, and now 17 years they've been with me.
Wow. Well, I wanted to say this is, you are possibly the most likable agent in town. And I've met a lot of them. No, you really are. It's a superpower. Yeah. And people like you, and you like people. And I mean, I can tell you like your actors too. Would you say that is a big part of your success? Is that you really like them?
Well, you got to love what you do.
Well, you
and
don't
do what
have
you
to,
love.
but you
yeah,
should.
no, you do.
But
I
you
think
should.
you should, or else you're just going to be unhappy.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to. I love the industry. I love the film industry, and I love the people in it. And yeah, they're all crazy. I'm a bit crazy too, but I can appreciate the craziness in that. But yeah, if you don't love what you're doing, it's tough. And I feel bad for these people that are in these jobs and they're just not happy doing these jobs. And I really look forward to getting up, going to the office, working. I've worked with some great people. We were just talking about it a couple of days ago at Lucas, that we're so lucky that when we all came together 10 years ago under the one roof, that we all get along and we all have the same kind of stupid sense of humor. And well, I don't say it's stupid, but it's a great sense of humor,
you get
right?
each other.
And we get each other. And yeah, sometimes people can annoy people. Actually, I think it's me annoying most of the people, but that's okay. They can live with it, and I live with it. And
I've never considered you as somebody that was annoying. I know. The thing of it is, another thing. You come to showcases, and I know you come to others other than mine. But, some of those agents have actually said to me, the last thing I want to do after spending 14 hours with actors is go see actors perform. But you do.
Yeah.
And I would just like you to talk about the reasons why you do that, because I think it's important for actors to understand. Let me rewind. I say to my kids all the time, the new ones that come in, is the good news in Vancouver is you can have your dream. They are looking for you. If you got game, if you can act, if you can bring it, they're looking for you, at least the good ones in the business. Mm-hmm. So that relates to you going after you've had a long day working with actors, going to a showcase. So can you talk about, your motivation?
I find it relaxing to sit there and watch people perform. I love showcases. I'll tell you what I love even more. I love watching a class.
Yep.
You've come to your class a few times. I love watching the craft. I love watching their warm-ups.
You're about due again.
Yeah, I am.
You haven't been to our new space over at the Beaumont. Right?
No, not yet.
All right.
But yeah, I love watching people fall down, and it's not because I'm a sadistic. It's because I want to see how they get better, right? Yep. Like any teacher can make a bad scene a good scene. But when you see a good scene become a better scene, it's so interesting. And then, and you're training yourself too as an agent. I'm going, okay, why is that bugging me? I'm trying to figure out why that doesn't work. And then, if I would have done that, I would have tried this, and that. And then, that's what they're doing now. Okay, that works, right?
Yeah.
So it's training for me, right? Going to classes to be a better agent. That's why I go to classes.
See, that's I think it's more rare than you think it is. I maintain that just like in sales, 5% of the salespeople make 95% of the sales. It's the same with agents, the good ones. You really do like as you say, love the whole business. But when you're never satisfied. You're always trying to train. You're always trying to grow. You're always trying to get better. That's key. Mm-hmm. Well, you kind of answered it, but what do you love most about being an agent?
I love making that phone call and telling my client they've got a gig.
You got the gig.
That's my favorite part. If it's an actor role, if it's a series regular role, or if
whatever.
It's just anything in between. Just saying you got the gig and hearing the excitement in their voice.
And the win.
Sometimes I'm disappointed when they take it too cool.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No.
It's like, okay, thank you. Yeah, I got it. Why am I more excited than you? But they're not. They're always appreciative, and they're very excited every time they book. So
that's good.
It's I like that. And I love negotiating. And sometimes we get to negotiate, sometimes we don't. There's certain projects in Vancouver you don't negotiate with.
Is that right?
Yeah, you can't. You can't get better because you know that that's their budget. That's all they can do, right?
Yeah. Okay. So then in that case, let me go the other way. What drives you crazy as an agent?
What drives me crazy are people that aren't prepared and aren't ready, but think they are. A weekend workshop does not an actor make.
Hello.
And they don't understand the amount of work that has to be put into making something believable and authentic using somebody else's words.
Yep.
And I don't care how well the other words are written, if they're well written or if it's a really bad TV episodic that's written badly. You still have to make it work.
Preach, brother.
Right? So I just feel that sometimes people underestimate the hard work of it, and they come in with egos and it's not. That's what I hate about it, right? And we have a problem here in Vancouver. Actors want to run before they walk.
Man.
And you don't see that in LA or other bigger cities, right?
You know why? Because there's 1,300,000 actors in LA, and
that's right.
It's one of the things I tell actors is we could be sitting here having a cup of coffee, and an agent could be over there and come over and say, you know what, you got a good look. Why don't you come into my office and sign them up, send them out for commercials, send them to a film acting class or an audition class, and then send them out for 1 or 2 liners, and they think they have a career. That never happens in LA. If you're lucky enough to get an agent interview in Los Angeles, maybe your brother knows somebody or whatever, or they see you an equity waiver, which we don't have here, which I wish we did. The first question they ask you is, who are you studying with? And if you say, well, I'm not currently studying, interview over right there, and who you study with makes a difference, at least for the good agencies. So it's much more competitive, and everybody knows it. Up here, the good news in Vancouver is there's a lot of work up here, and the bad news in Vancouver is there's a lot of work up here. Yeah. We all know 5 people that are working on set today. So yeah, I'm glad to hear you guys see it the way I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? And the thing with the actors is that, like, it's funny because you'll have an LA actor who's done 100 guest stars, but will still do like a principal role.
Yep.
Where here you have an actor who's done a few guest stars and no longer wants to do anything smaller than that.
Yeah.
And yes, there is a time in your career that you don't have to do smaller roles anymore. But you need to trust your agent.
Yes.
And you need to keep the momentum going. Rather than, I know actors that say, okay, no more actor roles, no more small principal roles. And then they stop getting seen and they get upset and they go, well, what's going on here?
Well, the old adage, there's no small actor, or there's small roles, just small actors.
Yes.
I know I could name 4 or 5 actors that I can point to their having one line in a movie that started their career. You just never know, do you?
It still happens. I still see it every day. I like watching an old movie from, what movie did I see just recently? LA Confidential. And there was, I can't remember his name, but the guy that used to be in The Mentalist. He was the lead in The Mentalist in the 2000, just like maybe 10 years ago.
He had one
but
line.
in LA Confidential, he had like 2 lines.
That's it.
Yeah,
you never know.
And I was like, oh, that's him, right? So yeah,
we all have that. I wanted to know what is a bit of your education as far as becoming an agent, because you jumped right in. So I mean, you obviously knew a few of the casting people, but how did you? I mean,
people ask me that a lot. Like, how do you train to become an agent? How do you become an agent? And honestly, it really took one day of my agent, my boss.
So you're saying it's easy?
No, it's not easy because there's a lot of good agents in Vancouver. Let's put that. But there's some that aren't.
I disagree. I think there's a few really good agents, and the rest of them are meh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like to be on the positive side. So there's a lot of good agents in Vancouver, but there are some that don't understand the work, like agents that take weekends off, or agents that shut off their phone at 6 o'clock, or agents that don't know how to talk to their students, or just not their students, talk to their clients. Or they're just on WhatsApp messages or stuff like that. It's kind of disappointing. When I became an agent, I was very lucky in town because Vancouver is such a great city because we only have 7 or 8 casting directors.
I know, but
so
I love this place.
Yeah. So when I became an agent, I already knew all the casting directors, and they had all cast me, and I built that trust with them in the casting room. So when I ended up becoming an agent, I ended up calling them all, and I said, "Hey, I'm no longer acting. I'm becoming an agent. Will you help me make your job easier.
And because you're who you are, they would be more than happy to.
And well, most of them did. Most of them, like some would call me and we'd have a nice phone meeting. Some I went out for lunch with. Some we went out for dinner with. It all depended on everybody's schedules and whatever. But I got a chance to learn what everybody wanted, and everybody's different. So really, this whole thing about acting and being an agent is all about trust. And just the acting,
and
you have
word.
to trust yourself, and people being reliable, right? So I was always able to. You could always get a hold of me. I was always fast on returning emails or text messages, and I learned that right away. I thought to myself when I became an agent, I said, "What kind of agent would I want as an actor?" That's the type of agent I have to be.
Wow!
Right.
And
so that's what's guided me. And then you learn the technical side, how to work the breakdowns and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it didn't take you long. Well, you were obviously, with your experience as a restaurateur and the approach you take to anything you do, your experience overseas and everything, I think you had a very business-like approach to it.
Yeah,
you were mature enough to handle that.
Yeah, and I think I was able to meld my artistic side with my business side, and it's a perfect match to be an agent.
Yeah, you have joy in what you do, I can tell. Okay, I want to get into the weeds as far as what information that you would like actors who approach you to have. So, number one, if they're new, would you prefer or advise them to just own that? Because actors, when they approach an agent, oh, I should do this, and what do I do that, and blah, blah, blah. But I tell them, you're new, and you're not going to hide that from any good agent. So what?
Well, you got to have confidence.
Well, true.
Right, so that's the big thing. I want to see you be confident. But yeah, know where you're at, know where you sit in the industry. But be confident about that. That's the thing. If you're going to be still insecure, oh, I'm new, I don't really know how to do this. Can I ask you questions? Well, I don't know if I want someone on my roster like that. Yes, I want people to ask me questions. At the beginning of your career, the agent there is to advise you.
Right.
After he advises you enough, I want to get all my clients to the point where they advise me.
Yeah, they're the CEOs of their own career.
That's right. So, and I think actors need to know that the agent-actor relationship is a partnership.
That's great.
I don't work for you, you don't work for me. We work together to get you to that next level.
Okay.
Right? So that's something actors need to know when they're looking for an agent.
Okay. Obviously, you don't want them just to show up.
Yeah.
Phone me, mail me, drop a resume, or how would what?
You know, I'm old school. I like sometimes they'll drop a resume. Very rare do actors actually come by and drop a resume and headshot off anymore. But every once in a while, someone will cold call and drop off. And if I'm not in the middle of something and I see it, I'll pop out of the office and say, "Oh, hey, so where do you train? Let me see your resume. Okay, we'll put it in the file, and if we're interested, someone will get back to you." If I don't have time, I don't have time.
Right.
So right now, everybody just emails us directly or to the Lucas Talent, and we all get a chance to look at that resume. If we're interested, we set up meetings.
Okay, so let's get into that. So besides the obvious, which is a look or age, or you've seen 10 breakdowns that looking for that particular person, what is it that attracts? What are you looking for?
Well, first I look at the headshot. Is that something I can use on my roster? Then I look at the resume to see what if they're brand spanking new? I want to see who they've trained with, what their special skills are. Special skills are an important thing for me. If they've studied martial arts, I want to say, I wonder what style. But hold on, let's talk about martial arts, or rather special skills. I tell actors all the time, if you've only had like one, karate class, don't put it on there. No, exactly. You got to be able to do well. Don't put horseback riding on there if you can't ride a horse. We've all seen that happen before. Oh my God. Where people say, I think I can ride a horse. That's no problem. Then they get there and they freeze. Yeah. Right? Exactly. Yeah. You can't do that. So I look at that, and then I look at their scene. And usually when you want to if you want to submit to any agent that's really good, will want to see scene work before they take a meeting with you or before they bring you onto their roster. Because they can't they can't assess. How can you sell something if you don't know where they're at?
Well, that makes
right?
sense.
So I want to see what your scene would be. And I don't care if it's a professional demo reel. As long as I can see and hear you, audition style is even better for me. People will be passing out demos with their produced stuff on it. I don't want to see a director or an editor's interpretation of your work. I want to see what you would do in an audition with some sides.
Wow.
Right? For me, for an agent.
Aren't most of them bad?
On most of what?
The tapes you get for submission?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Okay, so I've advised students not to do that. I've said, okay, if you're going to put bad work out there in front of somebody and you don't know what good work is, so chances are it's going to be bad, I think that's dangerous. And I thought, well, if an agent's really interested in you, they're going to give you some sides and test you and
no, see, I like them getting their own sides.
Okay.
Because I nothing self-written, nothing independent, right? It has to be something that's being produced. I want to get them to bring their own sides to it because I want to see where they see themselves playing.
Got it.
That gives me an idea.
Ah.
If their scenes are good, I don't stop there. I then
bring them in to read.
Or I give them my own set of sides, and I say, can you put this, have it ready for me by tomorrow, right? Because who knows? That could be coached to death. It could be they had it for 5 months working on it. You don't know, right? So I want to see what they're capable of doing. And you know what? A casting director told me in one of my meetings when I first started, she said, Emilio, do not take on somebody that, for one, isn't ready, two, that you don't know their work. And I was like, that totally makes sense, because if you're a car salesman, you can't sell a car if you don't know what kind of car it is. Yeah. You can't sell things if you don't know how it runs.
Or you have the wrong impression of them.
That's right. So I'm like, so now I have to see their work before I can represent them.
That's
truthfully.
Great. Okay. So do you have a favorite photographer in town, or do you have a few? No?
No. You know what? I've seen good headshots from great photographers. I've seen bad headshots from great photographers, right? It's all, like, I tell my clients, here's a list of photographers. Go Google it more if you can. Go look at their websites. Go talk to your friends, who does this, who does that, and then pick whoever you can afford and do it that time. And then I say, once you've set up the appointment, then call me and we'll discuss stuff to do with the thing.
Yeah, I got to a really good agency through a director friend of mine, and they signed me and they said, you will get your headshots done by, and the guy became my best friend who died on me, the son of a gun.
Oh, no.
But no, he was fabulous. But different agencies work in different ways. Down there, I mean, again, the numbers are so good, and they know that this guy is going to give them the absolute best. So
I disagree. I think it's not just the photographer. The photographer's important, yes, but it's the actor going into the room, and sometimes actors aren't prepared to go in and perform for that camera.
Oh, I know.
So that's what makes a good headshot or a bad headshot. It's the actor. So that's why if the actor's still kind of shy, it may be an amazing actor, but he doesn't know how to really connect to that camera or to show that story. Because that's a big thing. That's a big pet peeve of mine. Getting all these headshots, and I say get 3 different looks. Get a guy next door, get a tough guy, and then get maybe a business look. And then they come in there and it's the same face, but with different clothing, and it's the same expression, but with different clothing. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you don't look like a tough guy. You don't look like a lawyer.
It's not character,
right? Give me something that we can suggest easier for the role that we want. I want to send you out
this guy, I got to tell you, you'll appreciate this story. I hate getting my picture. I hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway. I met this guy. He was I won't go into it, a long story, but when we finally got together, we were just sitting down then and talking and talking about girls or whatever the hell it was. And then I noticed he's up and taking pictures. And then as soon as he realized that I knew he sat back down again.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd start talking again. And the next thing I knew, so he caught me. I've never had better photos in my life, and he understood how to know. So I think a good photographer really knows how to get you in the shot. And I've had experiences with good ones and bad ones, but I do understand where you're coming from. What are the most important things that an actor needs to do once you've signed them to keep up their end of the bargain?
There's a few things, but they should still be training. They should always. I'm a real big believer in actors always acting.
And you always send them to me, right?
I send them to a list of acting teachers, and I let them decide where they want to go. It's not my job to tell an actor where to go. They need to see who they're comfortable with, because honestly, somebody might come to you and not like you, but someone, and then 2 weeks later, another person might come to you and love you, and they're all at different parts, right? So they're all at different stages of their career. And I just find it, I don't think it's like, and I get a lot of people saying, hey, I'm doing this class, I do that. And I'm like, okay, great. I'll put it on the list. I'll even try and go and audit before I put it on a list to send out to clients. But teacher, student, it's so subjective, and what works for me might not work for you, and what works for him might not work for that person. So they really need to go and audit and see what they're getting themselves into, because they might come to your class and find it too advanced, or they might come and think, oh, this is going to be easy, and then they're blown away, and it turns them off from acting, right? Like, I know there's...
Then they should go somewhere else.
That's right,
and
exactly.
do something that they love that they can do.
Yeah.
No, well, we have our disagreements about that, but you're right about the one thing, and that is they should go and audit. There are classes that won't let you audit, and I'm always thinking, what do you got to hide? You know, that doesn't work. What are some of the things you'd have done differently if you had to do it all over again?
What would I have done differently if I had to do it all over again?
Nobody ever asked you that?
I've never thought of it. Like,
wow.
Well, when I was an actor, I wouldn't really have given a shit as much as I did when I was younger. When I was so trying so hard to impress.
Right.
That I wasn't becoming, I was no longer impressive.
You would have gone like Harrison Ford, you know, with the come from the construction
I was just
site.
like wanting to be liked, and I would, when I was an acting student, I was a lazy acting student. Back before I entered into the actual world, I probably would have spent more time and who wants to go to theater history class, right? But now I think back, and I just directed a show last year, and I was like, oh, geez, if I would have spent more time in theater history, I would have known why they did it that way back in Greek mythology or something like that, right? It's everything that you learn in life helps you become a better actor. Yeah. And sometimes I took that I didn't take advantage of that, but I took that for granted.
Right.
Right?
I understand.
So that's the only thing I would have really done differently, is maybe just paid a little bit more attention when I was in school.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What advice would you give a young actor that's just bit and starting out?
Just bit, as in he's been bit. He really wants to do this.
He's got the fire.
First thing he needs to do is jump into a class.
Yep.
See if this is really what he wants to do, because once he starts doing vocal exercises to warm up and trying to make him, and he's going to be self-conscious about looking stupid, this is not the right industry for him, because we have to look stupid as actors.
Well, we learn by failure. Yeah. Is what we do.
You need to fall down. You don't try to be perfect all the time.
Yeah.
Right? We try so hard to be perfect that we're never authentic. Yep. And that's our goal, is to be real. And so that's the first thing I would tell any guy who wants to get in this industry. Before you even go out and look for an agent, go and take a class to see if this is what you really want to do. And you know what? It might be what you want to do, but you know you're not going to make any money at it for a long time. So that's fine too. Do your day job.
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
Stay with it. Do some community theater at night. Some of the best actors I know work as lawyers or as accountants, and they're able to stoke that artistic flame by doing community theater at night.
Yeah.
And
support your acting habit.
that's right. Exactly. So you don't have to be a professional actor to make it.
Yeah.
Right?
You have the love of it.
Yeah.
What would you like actors to know about casting director workshops? I have some very strong opinions about that, as you know.
You know, for me, when I was an actor, the casting director workshops were worth their weight in gold for me.
Yeah.
Because but I didn't see, actors do it so they can get seen. When I was an actor taking a casting director workshop, I took them to see how that casting director worked differently than this casting director. Problem with Vancouver is a lot of actors will take a casting director workshop way too early in their career, and they're not at the top of their game.
No, absolutely.
And they're going to be remembered of being someone who's not yet ready.
Meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you need to take it when you're ready. And I don't see as many casting director workshops anymore. I see a lot of Zoom workshops, which I guess are fine.
No,
but I'm not big on Zoom. I don't think you can learn.
It was like teaching with two hands behind my back, but
Oh,
it was effective. That whole casting director workshop thing started around 1984, 1985 in LA. And I had just finished Daryl's program, so I was pretty sharp on what I was doing. And I thought, I need to get in front of some of these people. Bobby Hoffman, who did Happy Days. Everybody wanted to meet Bobby Hoffman. Mm. So I started taking these workshops, and I realized after about 6 weeks of this, I was doing at least 2 a week, that these guys didn't have a gig. Yeah. They were just using it to supplement their income. And that's about the time these on-camera classes started too, because there were some of these episodic directors that didn't have a gig, but they were very different than what the film acting classes are now. There was an actual set with an actual TV camera with props and the whole 9 yards. And the guy that was doing it actually didn't have a gig at the moment, but he had a resume as an actual director. And what was interesting to me is, I, at that time, thought there was a different kind of acting for film. I thought it was more subtle or whatever. And the guy kept saying, no, I need more energy from you, more. And this was about the third time. And then I realized, oh, he wants me to do what Daryl taught me. Yeah. So it's the same job, telling the truth under magnet. And now you've got film acting classes. It's an iPhone on a stick, which we have, and 2 actors sitting in chairs with the script in their hand. This is bullshit. So the training, I think an actor has to, first of all, train and have the skills that you're confident in before you get up in front of somebody who has the power to hire you, because you're just going to embarrass yourself. I always said the good news is that if you're that bad, they'll forget you in 20 minutes anyway. Yeah. But not so much in this market because it's smaller. Yeah. Down there, it's like, cattle call. But I saw movie stars going into those. The gal that played Lex Luthor's girlfriend in the first Superman movie had a spectacular, beautiful redhead. I can't remember her name.
The old Christopher Reeves one?
No. Oh. Yeah, the first one.
The very first one in the 70s.
The very first one in the 70s. Gene Hackman's girlfriend.
That's right.
I ran into her. I was reading with her at one of these things, and I'm going, oh, Jesus, God, she had a Valerie Perrine.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, terrific actor, by the way. So, anyway, okay, so...
I like casting director workshops if the actors are ready, because as an actor, they don't. Well, no, some actors are ready to be seen, and I remember taking a workshop and then the next day getting called in to the casting director.
Yeah, but that was you. You trained. I got to tell you something. I did something I'm ashamed of. I had a couple of them up here, and I sold them out because everybody wanted to meet. Well, I won't mention who it was. But every single one of those people, I couldn't convince them that it's not your auditioning skills that's the problem. You don't know how to act. Yeah. You don't have a basic. It's not you don't have talent. That's not the truth. But I'm doing all the work, and it was like, you don't understand. You're right. You're just telling this casting director you're not ready. Yeah. And it was. I never did it again and never would do it. Anyway, that's me. What is your projection for the industry this year? What are you seeing?
I think this year we're starting to see it get a lot better. Actually,
That's what I
already.
heard. That's
yeah,
what I heard.
I'm already seeing it from January. It's starting to get busier. I've talked to people in LA, and everybody is being cautiously optimistic that this will be a better year.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We are up. SAG is renegotiating the contract this year, so they start that. So there's always a little fear of a strike. But I think nobody wants to strike. The producers don't want to strike. Jesus. The actors don't want to strike. Yeah, so I think we're going to be good, and I think Vancouver's going to do well this year.
Fabulous. Yeah. Okay, so how do you see streaming figuring in the business here?
You know, streaming is streaming. It's I'm kind of sad about streaming because people don't go to movie theaters anymore, and feature films are meant to be seen on a big screen.
Yes, they
don't watch it on a home screen or
I'm telling you,
on a computer.
Laughing and crying in the dark with other strangers. There's nothing like it. It's really, it takes me back. I think it's something that's in our human consciousness that it's been going on since we were cave people going around the fire. I mean, really, it's wonderful.
True. And so that's my sad thing about streaming. But my good thing about streaming is they need the content, so they keep producing stuff.
Yeah.
So I love that we have more content to produce.
So I am of the personal opinion that this is just in its infancy, and like most things that are new, it will continue to grow, and it will find a place in the industry that won't look much like it does right now. I think it might even get bigger, more effective, more. It ain't going away.
Well, I think what's going to happen with streaming is going. I don't think you're ever going to be able to take feature films away. The movie theater experience, we're slowing it down, but it'll come back. It happened when the VHS came out, the CD came out. Everybody stopped going to theaters, but then they all started coming back. So I don't think you're ever going to be able to take that away. I think what's in jeopardy, and maybe in the next 10 years we might not see it, or we might not see it the way we see it today, is network television.
Really?
Network television isn't as strong as it used to be.
No, there's so many options.
There's so many options. They're all going to streaming movies. I think we're going to start seeing, and like even each network has their own streaming set, right?
Well, you're talking to a guy, listen, I didn't get a television until I was like 9 years old, and we had 3 networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC, but they didn't even come on until 6 o'clock at night, and then they went off at 9.
Yeah.
And then color TV came in. Oh, I mean, it was ridiculous. And the only programming that was really in the daytime, the initial was Saturday morning, because they wanted the kids to, have something, and then gradually that came on. But I mean, it's gone crazy. Now there's just 900 channels, and most of it's crap, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your favorite movie?
Oh, so many different favorite ones.
I know. But you got
it's
one?
hard to say. I'm Italian,
you don't go to the
so
Godfather?
I have to say The Godfather. Yeah, I have to say The Godfather because I'm Italian, and it really was one of the first movies of its time that did the 5-act structure, and it was just so well shot.
Oh, it's a Did you know the history of that movie?
Yeah.
92 times it almost didn't get done.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was a struggle. There's a wonderful podcast on that about the making of The Godfather.
There's a great series on Paramount called The Offer.
Yeah, I started to watch it. I couldn't
it's
quite
Paul
get into it.
Ruddy's version of it. Paul Ruddy, is that his name?
Yeah.
He's the producer.
One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you kind of see it through his eyes. How much of it is true, I don't know. But I found it very entertaining. And some of the acting was brilliant. Some of the guy that got to play Brando looked exactly like Brando.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole story about that too, where the head guy at Paramount said, "I'll only do it if he gives like $1 million guarantee and he does it for free."
yeah, because at that time he was already known for causing a lot of trouble on sets. Right?
Anyway, you should check out that podcast. Okay, so what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I actually
I know what you're going to say.
I go to theater. I love eating. I love food. I love restaurants.
Have you ever thought, now that you're successful, do you ever think about taking another? Listen, dude, if we need a good Italian restaurant in this town.
No, That restaurant, I had it
Never?
for 7 years. It aged me 20. Right? It's a harder business to get into than the acting industry.
Yeah, no, I
it's
imagine.
so tough, and especially now, I don't know how these poor restaurants survived during
Yeah.
COVID.
Well, most of them didn't.
Yeah, it's just it's tough. It really is a tough thing. And you know what? I'm not a great restaurateur. I like a place to bring people to and buy them a drink here and entertain, or to host something. But I'm not good at pinching a penny here, pinching a penny there. And as a restaurant person, my forte was service. I was always good at giving good service, and people would come to see, right?
Yeah.
So I'm more of a service manager than I would say
you
a
cook?
restaurateur. I can.
Are you any good at it?
Yeah, I can cook some great stuff. I still make a mean risotto.
You do?
Yeah.
How about an amatriciana?
Oh, no, matriciana is one of my favorites.
Okay, all right. You have to cook.
Yeah.
I'll come to you. Well, actually, I make a good amatriciana too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I do. Well, I ran into that dish when we were living in Rome for 2 months. We ran into the guy that rented us the condo, introduced us to a guy that cooked for like 14 people every weekend. He was an ex-banker, but he always wanted to be a cook. And he taught my ex-wife, who's still my best friend and business partner, how to make it, and then I learned how to make it as well. And I'm always disappointed whenever I go to a restaurant, because they'll put chicken in it, or they'll put some onion compote, and it's like, no, this is it's a Calabrese dish. It's simple. It's poor people food. Just don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so But anyway,
it's all it is guanciale and
pecorino romano,
yeah.
some tomatoes and some onions and a little olive oil and Bob's your uncle, and it's fabulous.
Yeah.
It's
There's actually a great restaurant on Olympic Village that makes a great amatriciana.
Really?
Yeah, Onda.
Onda.
And the pasta is fresh. They make their pasta fresh there.
Okay, I'm going to check them out, because I got to find one restaurant in this town I can go to that has good Italian food.
Yeah.
All right. Anything that you want to say about the industry or actors? Or
Well, the big thing about acting is just keeping it real, right? Being authentic. And I think sometimes actors forget that you have to not just be authentic in front of a camera or on stage, but you have to be authentic in life.
As a person.
And that's where you're going to keep on going.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to survive in this industry.
All right.
So that's it.
Well, great words, and I thank you so much for your time and being first
No
on.
problem. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me.
You're a gentleman, and my observation of you is I love the way that you handle people, and you really do it with love and kindness.
You've never seen me in a bad mood.
Never have.
But
never.
you will see me. That's the only reason you like it. That's the only reason you like it, because when I'm in a bad mood, it's a different story.
I can understand. You probably have good reason to, and I never want to give you the reason to do that. Thank you, Emilio. I
No
appreciate
problem.
your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks.
you.